you have 100K somewhere saved and you are confused? You don't even know what to do with that money. And you're scratching your head and you're like, okay, fine. I see I have 100K and it has taken me a little bit of time to say accumulate this money. I am employed, but I don't love this job. Well, I haven't been into business, but I would love to be in the business. Or should I invest this money in the areas that Joseph talks about? Should I buy shares? Should I buy equity funds? Should I throw this money into a T-bills? What exactly should I do with this money? You know, you are trying to peruse all over the internet and you're asking the best businesses to do with 100K. Are you that kind of an individual? Then this is the exact video that you are looking for. I want to help you how to make a decision if you're having this amount of money and you're confused. And by the way, even if you're having more than this or less than this and you're confused, this is still the video to watch. Okay? This is good. Joseph, in case you're watching me for the first time, I major on finances, money investment. Not because that I know everything, but for God's sake, there is something that I know that you do not know. I also believe there is something that you know that I don't know. That's why I always encourage you. Leave a comment on the comment section. Okay? Criticize me, give me the suggestion, objection, any topic you'd like me to talk about. And in case you need to have a call with me privately for business purposes, that is my number. Let's get on to business now. Here you are, you have yourself a savings of 100K, then you're confused. The first thing to unconfuse yourself, if that name means or makes sense, is to first of all find out who you are first. Are we together? Who you are. And what state are you? When I say state, I don't mean in terms of a country. I mean in terms of situationship. Which situation are you? You might be having, let me give you an example of 3 people here. We have person A, person B, and person C. Person A, all of them each has 100K and they are all confused. But now the person A with 100K is employed, okay? Is employed, okay? Person A hates his job. Okay, almost everyone hates his job. So hates his or her job, okay? Or her job. So this person A is thinking the business way, of course. Or this person A is thinking about going the what? The service way. And this person A is skilled. You have some skill somewhere. Maybe you're a graphic designer. Maybe you can coach people. Maybe you have some understanding of baking and what. You have some skill somewhere that you can be able to trade. Now we go to person B. Person B, probably, I don't know, maybe he was given this 100K by his uncle or whatever the thing it is. He has 100K anyway. He is not employed. Not employed. Or he was employed and then he got fired, you know, because he had some relationship in the company where he was employed. So not employed anyway. So he's not employed. Are we together? And this person, okay, he doesn't have a job to hate, therefore he reserves his hatred. And this guy, of course, is thinking about paying his bills. Are we together? He's thinking about paying his bills. And then this person doesn't have any skills, does not have any skills, but this guy has experience with business. And then comes to the person C. Person C, he's employed. Are you together? He don't want to quit the job, doesn't want to quit the job, okay? And this person B, he's okay, you know, investing this money in whichever, and probably he's a risk taker, and what have you. Probably the guy at 25 or guy at early 30s. Now, these are 2 different individuals. So the first question I should ask you, you have 100K, okay. Now, which situation are you? Do you want to quit your job? And you have 100K, then I wouldn't advise you to quit your job and start a business. If you want to quit your job, it should be starting a business to quit your job, not quitting your job to start a business. Why? Because you find people quitting their job, then they regret later. What you do, you find out what to do with 100K while you are still doing that job that you still hate. You can figure out, you know, you can decide. Okay, first of all, it depends. What would you like the 100K to do for you? For example, I can have 2 people here. One can tell me, hey, Joseph, with my 100K, even if I generate as little as 1,500 in a month, I don't have any issue. Another person can tell you, hey, Joseph, this 100K, I want it to generate me around 15K a month. Why? Because if I dare quit my job, then I want this 15K because it's what I'm being paid in a month to make sure that it pays all my bills. Therefore, this person is thinking the investment way, and this person is thinking the business way. So therefore, there is no way 100K will generate you 1,000 or 15,000 in a month using an investment. None. You can't generate that, that is for sure. The only business, your likeliness of generating this amount of money can only be towards you investing this money in a business or having this money in a business. Now, what happens here is that you look for that business that you can be able to do with this 100K if this is the money that you want to generate. And what happens is this, at least give yourself 3 months. I know it's a hell on earth for you to start a business when you're employed. Why? Because employment takes, or job takes, the most prime hours of your life, which is from 8 a.m. all the way to 5 p.m. But you can start a venture. I have somebody who bought a, what do you call, an ATM, a dispensing machine that dispenses the what do you call it? This thing that people used to cook teas, milk. Yes, so he's dispensing some milk. I have another guy who was dispensing some cooking oil. I have some other guy who was actually started at some cereal shop somewhere. I'm telling you, starting a business is a bit tricky. That one I 100% agree with you. Somebody decided to take this 100K, went to his up country, and actually, because the parents has the space, then he bought himself some Dober sheep and what have you, and he's doing comfortably okay. Then he can start reselling those sheep and what have you. Some people decide to go the poultry way. Find out what you can do, give it at least 3 months. When you are sure that now it's generating 15K, or maybe probably less than this 15K, and then, you know, once you can just quit the job and give it your the most prime hours, you can push this number to the value, then so be it. Now, this is a guy whom I would advise, please, I know you hate your job, but please stick to your job as you figure out what this 100K can do to you so that it can pay your bills. So in this regard, then you can go the business way. If you hate your job, but one day you want to quit, then what you can do, you can take this 100,000, put it in an investment which will give you approximately 1,000 to 1,500 in a month, and then that money will actually generate you income as time goes by. Person B, in this case, this is a guy who does not have an employment and then does not have any skills, but he has an experience in business. Now, this is a person you tell them, please, even if you take this money and invest it in beads, bows, whatever, that thing will never help you in the sense that it won't generate enough cash to pay your bills. Because like next month or the other month, you need to pay your bills. So this is a guy, you tell them, please go start a business with that particular money that you're having, because otherwise, if you don't do that, you're gonna get yourself into problems. Because, you know, I usually hear people saying, you know, what happens is that there is someone who is suffering from cash flow, because this person is not suffering from cash flow, this person A, because you are employed, but this guy is suffering from cash flow. He only have a liquid cash. He doesn't have any means of generating some cash. There is no, you know, system that is generating income for them. So they have to look for something that can generate income for them. And this is where people make mistake even when they are purchasing something. You find somebody has accumulated a cash, let's say 2 million, and then they don't have any other. Let's say this was like a windfall money. You know, money just came. You know, things happens in life, isn't it? So you have yourself the 2 million, and then you be like, oh, this guy has been admiring to get a car, like, you know. Now this guy has 2 million. He doesn't have any source of income. No money coming in. It's just like a lake or an ocean without an outlet. Just, you know, the money is just silent. Then this guy gets half 1.5 million of it, goes buys a car, and then this guy left with 500,000. Then he pays a comprehensive insurance of 70,000. The guy is left for 100 and something. You start fueling, you start servicing, you start the next minute you hear the guy selling the car, and of course you sell it lower than that. See, what considers or what determines you purchasing such a thing is not only the money that you have saved, but also you check on the streams of your income, or the income that is coming in that is emptying to that particular ocean of yours, which in our case is our bank account. So in this case regard, this guy, even if you tell them to go invest this money in MMF, if he generates 1,500 in a month, obviously that would pay his bills. So this is a guy, you sit them down and ask them, do you have any experience with business? They tell you yes, even though it's not me starting my own business, but I've ever been employed in clothing industry and I know 1, 2, 3 about that particular business. And please, I tell people, when you have an experience about something, don't rush in towards doing something that you love. Let me give you an example. I had somebody who was employed in a butchery. That guy knows actually knows everything as far as the butchery business is concerned. He was employed. The guy, you know, saved up to 180,000. You know what the guy decided to do? He decided to enter into the clothing industry just because he loves fashion and what have you. He blew all the money. It went down. Why? He left something that he knows for the something that he loves. And then in that process, he lost everything. This is what I was telling him. If you could have just stick to the butchery because you know, sure, you may not love it, but it's generating cash. It's a thing that you understand. It's a thing that you know. You invest on the things that you know. Once you invest there, do you know what that means? It means that later you can have some spillovers to that particular fashion business as you want it and keep on learning about it. And that is the mistake that most people do. So with this regard, I would definitely recommend this guy to get into the business. I know it is risky. I know it has a lot of moving parts, but it's the only option that we have for this kind of an individual here. Now, this guy is employed, doesn't hate his job. He has some cash flow coming in, but he's asking me, hey, Joseph, I have 100K. This money, I don't want it to lie idle. I want to accumulate to a certain level, and what do I do? Therefore, if you tell this person to go the business way, you're going to disturb his whole time. So what you do, tell this guy to invest this money, whereby even if it's generating some less income, the guy will have the motivation to keep on pumping in more money with this regard. Then ultimately one day the guy will actually be able to reach some levels. So the simplest way to unconfuse yourself is to simply find out the situation that you are in, the state that you are in, the needs and the wants that you want. At that particular time, then you start asking yourself, please, I always tell people, don't consult your heart whenever you're making a money-related decision. Heart is so deceiving. Just think through, don't feel through. See, when you think through, you ask yourself, okay, this is Joseph. I have this 100K. I do not have a job, or there are chances of my contract is about to end in 2 years' time. Therefore, with this 100K, I need two options. I need to accumulate this money as much as I can so that by the time I'm actually off the contract, I already identified the business to do. I understand that particular business. Probably I know the location. I know the nitty-gritties about that business. I know somebody who is doing that business. I'm relating to that particular individual. I know who are the distributors, the suppliers, the everything, the system and the structure that I'm going to work with for me to do that. Like you know everything at your fingertips. You know what people do? They just ignore all that information. And then all what they do is just accumulate the cash and have the capital. Most people tend to think like getting and accumulating capital is the ultimate thing that you should be looking for. Sure, it is a major thing, but it's not only major thing. There are other things that you need to figure out. I had a client and she was telling me she wants to own a home. But I asked her a question. Okay, have you find out that how much the land will cost? She doesn't know. I asked her, which type of a house would you like to know? She said, I would like to have a 3-bedroom. Okay, have you figured out how much a 3-bedroom would cost? She doesn't know. The only thing that she thinks about getting the money to build that home. Then I ask her, if you don't know how much it will cost, then how much will you even save? And by the way, when you hit the figure, how will you even know? It's like looking for the kingdom of God, but you don't know what it is. How will you know when you get it? So it is good when you understand. Consult them. You should have some several numbers, even 10 contractors, asking them different questions. How much will a 3-bedroom cost? How much starting this business would cost? And by the you just understand, you count the cost and pay the price. You understand everything about that particular thing, you know. You are so smart. It's like I met another guy who happens to be my friend in a way. He was looking for a car, but the guy doesn't even understand the difference between a Toyota and a Mazda. He was just confusing the two. So I was like, if you don't even know the basic different types of brands of a car, how will you even know? See, now you're establishing what we call a very big asymmetry of information between the buyer and the seller. And when the gap is too big, you're going to be taken advantage of. You know, for example, if you decide to buy this pen, you are the buyer and this is the seller. So what happens? You're supposed to bridge the gap of information. Learn and study about this pen. Consult widely. Have information. And of course, when I say consult widely, I prefer working with professionals. You'd rather pay somebody to have the professional advice. So you bridge the gap about this information about this particular pen. So when the bridge is too small, and when the seller understands that you know some nitty-gritties here and there, they are likely to treat you like this is an expert. And probably you're not buying this thing for the first time. So you being manipulated is quite high. By the way, have you ever bought something when you had a very big gap in terms of understanding, and then you bought it, then probably you went loss over 40% of the money that you paid? That is exactly what you're supposed to do. So whenever you decide to commit this money, first understand who you are, where you are, your situation, then find out what you are good at, not what you love. Then unless what you love is what you are good at, then you will be lucky. By the way, the moment you love what you're good at, or the moment you good at what you understand, or rather you are good at what you love, oh my goodness, I'm telling you, you are unstoppable. So that is it, guys. If you have 100K, that is exactly the procedure that you follow. But of course, there's some premium information that I haven't shared with you here. Anyway, in case you need my services on this particular point, where now we dissect into the issues, that is my number. You can shoot me a call. Let's talk business. For now, it's a goodbye and see you the next one.